I don't know if there's enough hours in the day for me to talk about Waller or not, because that guy, the decisions that he made, and see, here's the thing for me. I look at things from a different perspective. I like players, not obviously I like great players. I love watching guys that give it all, right?
Mhm.
Guys who are great teammates, like Calvin Johnson. Here, Calvin Johnson's a guy who he's. And I say this: there's about 5% of the NFL that makes 95% of the money.
Right.
That 5% is about the 100 players that people know by name, the ones that you see the big contracts, right? Those guys, regardless of wherever they're going to go, they're probably going to be successful.
Of course.
They're like, I call those the 1%ers of the 1%ers, right? You know, it's 1% of high school athletes play. They're at a different level, and sometimes they can do things differently. But a guy like Calvin Johnson, who's a 1%, he was at every summer workout. Not only there, but he was winning every drill. He that's a guy that I'm like, that's a great teammate. Not because the guy scores a million touchdowns. It's your character. How are you when no one else is looking? That's what I look at. And again, I go back to last year. In our reunion, the Raiders, I got to give a shout out to Mark Davis and the alumni staff. Mm-hmm. They do a phenomenal job. But we go back and it's a great weekend. We go to the game. Again, here's Waller. He's under contract. Not only that, he's hurt. Right. I'm thinking, when you're hurt in the NFL, it's like you feel it's the worst feeling you can have. And I can't believe someone has the goal, if that's even correct, the goal to, while they're hurt, sit there and complain about, I need a new contract. And I'm sitting here, he's not playing, and then he does not go to one. He doesn't go to that game, the game against New England, the preseason game that we were at.
Right.
Do you know where he was at?
I have no idea. Where was he?
He was across the street watching his girlfriend play for the Las Vegas, whatever the WNBA team is. Mm-hmm. And no one said anything about it. And I'm going, he just doesn't show up to a game?
That has something to do with coaching. That has something to do with coaching. Because if you had somewhat of a coach that's going to go out there, it's mandatory to be there no matter if you're on the field or you're not. That's his coach's fault.
But here's the thing, though. I can see where a coach is going to say this. Hey, listen, I'm not going. I have so many other things to focus on right now. Mm-hmm. I don't want this to be an issue. You know what? I understand that we're in the times that we are, and players have a lot more power than they should.
Right.
And they don't have anyone telling them to sit down and at least just be a respectful player.
LeBron James Act.
I was very fortunate. You know, when I was a rookie, I had Warren Sapp, Ray Buchanan, Philip Buchanan, Charles Woodson, along with guys like Jim Otto and Fred Biletnikoff, Willie Brown in the building. I had great examples of if we were doing some stuff, that's not how a professional athlete acts or does things. Mm-hmm. And some of these guys, they don't have those veteran players teaching them how to be. And I'm sitting here and I was amazed that nobody around the organization, as far as players or current wise, was being like, yeah, it's messed up that he doesn't show up for the game. He could be there on the sideline coaching his tight ends, sitting there with Carr, visualizing, hey, in 2 weeks when we play Baltimore, I see, hey, what do you think about this? Working on his craft. And also, preseason game, that might be the only game a fan could come. And if you're not going to play, he should be, especially a preseason game, taking pictures, signing autographs, doing what you're supposed to do as a professional. Instead, he's over pouting because he wants a new contract while he's hurt. And the year before, he had a very, very, very subpar season, yet he's saying he's the best player in the NFL. I think he was more focused on his tattoos, his rapping, and getting with whatever plum from the Las Vegas, the WNBA team. So I was glad he's gone. Those are type of guys that you sit there and they tell you how much they love it and how much it means to them. And I understand we're our own individual entities, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
If you're not taking care of yourself the best, no one else is going to do it better than that. But these guys, they don't care. It's about me. Like you said, I loved it when I pulled up the thing. You talk about Aaron Rodgers. It's always about Aaron. Mm-hmm. It always comes back to Aaron. And it's just, I couldn't be around those type of people. It just shows the level of, and then they sit there and I wouldn't mind it if that's how they lived always. Like, hey, just so you know, that guy's, I know where he stands. I'm not going to call him if I need to move my house or if I need, he's about him, but he's always like that. But then these guys are up there preaching about family and trust and all this stuff. And they don't care.